Hi, how you doing? How you doing? This is Wendy Coleman with a Child Like Me podcast. Trying to invite some friends. Hello. Hi. Hi, Crystal. Oh my goodness.
Okay,
Hi.
there we go.
Woo! This has been a journey.
Yes, it has been a time,
Oh my goodness. So
but we
happy to
are
see you.
here.
How you doing? You look so beautiful today.
Thank you.
You
Same to you. I'm loving the pink. I know that's your favorite color.
It is. Thank you so much. Thanks for remembering that.
Yeah. So my name is Crystal Stacker, and I am a co-host to a Child Like Me podcast. And we have our beautiful and lovely host up top, Wendy Coleman. So today we bring to you the first episode where we will be finding out a little bit more about our host. So, um, Wendy, where would you like to start with this interview?
First of all, I think I better make sure we're recording.
Okay.
So let's 1 second, please. Let me try something right quick. Okay, so I think we're good to go now. So, where would I like to start? I would like to start on how the child like me came to be. It was given to me in a dream twice. Started 20 years later, and the name was still available. Had some mishaps, but back at it. So that's really short and sweet.
Okay.
Okay.
Um, just tell us like a little more. Like I know you briefly told us how you got the name, but
Mhm.
um what made you decide, even with hearing that name, given by God, like what made you know, like, okay, this is the direction that I'm headed in with where I'm going, so I'm going to use this? What sealed it?
I think the name within itself, and then God proceeded to tell me the vision. And I think that is what excited me. I had some mishaps from like moving and things of that sort. I still operated inside of a child like me. However, it was a case I was watching on TikTok that just like united the fire again for me to start.
Okay, that sounds good because you are a powerhouse. So
Thank you so
let's say
much.
that.
Thank you.
Um, so we're going to go straight into this. If you could tell viewers a little bit about a child like me and like your vision and goal for this podcast, um, what is this podcast aiming towards?
Okay, so the podcast is aiming towards um, providing a safe platform for SADV survivors. Is aiming to offer a safe space for survivors. I plan on taking it to housing, scholarships and things of that sort, because the ultimate goal is to ultimately stop this from happening to another child. And so I feel like a lot of people are still not healed because they haven't had a chance to properly share their stories. And I think by sharing your story, you gain your voice back and your power back.
I agree. I agree. Um, so give us a little background of what you do as far as like ways that you give back.
Oh, wow.
Just like some things that you have done in your background that relates to what you do as far as like a child like me, what you're bringing to it.
Okay, so I'm an advocate for children any child. I'm an advocate for children. I help children. I provide resources. Sometimes it could be a hotel stay to get a woman from a domestic violence situation. I provide food to the homeless, anything that's really required at that time. And so some things are just kept confidential, but it's what's required at the time for that person. And the platform is for others to tell their story, but I also want to be able to offer them housing if they need it. I also want to be able to offer them a scholarship to kind of like get back on their feet. Um, I am really, really thinking about doing some type of program for previous victims to help them out, like some type of stipend or scholarship program where if you have indeed been abused, you can apply for resources to help you with your current life. Because sometimes the current life is still plagued with the previous life.
Okay. And so what's a topic that you want to discuss on today that gives them an introduction of Wendy and what she has faced?
Um, I haven't faced uh I'm not sure if I can say certain words, so I'm going to say SA, I'm going to say R, I'm going to say M within the family, within strangers and things of that sort. And what I would strive for is to end it and help people find their voice, help people find their voice to speak up, to talk back, and just to end it. I want people to be aware of residues that's left behind from someone being abused. I want people to be aware of symptoms and characteristics of people being abused, like that you can pay attention to now, where you can have telltale signs on whether or not a child is being art essayed, okay? And it just details like stuff like bedwetting, acting out in school, being withdrawn, and things of that sort, just for starters.
Okay. And I know I keep hearing you say that you were M'd. How old were you when you finally understood that you were being M'd?
Okay, so I had a situation when I was 4 years old where I was groomed by a family member. And then when I finally understood what was happening to me, I think that would be when I was 6 years old. I was in a Pacific foster care home, and I just know I wanted to end. It was my brother and I and another little girl.
Okay. And how old were you when you spoke up, and who did you tell?
I was 6 years old, and this was within the same home. And I told mommy, that was my foster mother at the time. Um, she didn't believe me.
Mm,
And so then I was re-victimized because I finally found the courage to tell, and then I was re-victimized because they didn't believe me.
wow. Okay. And how did you feel knowing that they did not believe you? How
I
did
feel
that
shattered.
affect you?
Yes, it affected me a lot. I was shattered. I was more I literally was so shattered in myself. It caused me to withdraw. It caused me to distrust, and it set the stage for my relationships with people going forward, men and women, because I didn't trust women, and I definitely didn't trust a man.
Okay. And how did your mom, well, your adopted mother at the time, did she try in any way to protect you from the person that was doing this to you? Even though she didn't believe, did she at least try to protect you?
I don't think she tried to protect me, but I think she watched him more after I had told. I think she watched him more. If I'm not mistaken, I believe she even took off of work to make sure she watched him, because we stayed in the house approximately 2 weeks prior to them leaving us. And so I really want to address the fact that the foster care system is flawed. Under no circumstances should a child be left in a house when it has been an allegation of molestation.
I agree. I agree. So, did at any time or at any certain point did CPS get involved? Did any police come to the house to investigate? What type of investigations were taken?
CPS did come to the house because they were the one that removed us, but they did not they did not do anything about it. What I would like to see happen in cases is that if you take a child in, and you are accused of something like this, I would like the money to be paid back. I would like restitution unto the child. I would like to see that happen. I would like the police to be called. I would like to see foster care reformed to the point where this does not ever happen again.
Okay. I agree. I think that um, whoever is over that household, I feel like they should be held accountable and that they should have their license removed because some kids are already dealing with certain traumas and certain things, abandonment from their biological parents and abuse and neglect from them. And then to be taken out of one situation to be placed in another one is another hardship in itself.
Absolutely. Come to find out, some years later, I met someone years later when I was a teenager. And after talking one day, we were 30 plus years old. I realized something after our conversation is that when my brother and I were moved out of the house, they moved him in that same house. He knew too many details. He knew the names. He knew what the house looked like. He knew where it was located. And that is a no-no for me. And this is why foster care needs to be reformed. And the reason why they put him in the house because daddy didn't like, did not like little boys. He only liked little girls.
Now, what was his experience? I mean, not to really go into detail about him, but did he have a bad story and encounter with them as well?
Oh no, he had a wonderful encounter with them, just as my brother did. Had a wonderful encounter. They were nice to him. He had the time of his life. He learned so much. He earned so much money. He was really excited to be there. They both were. As I talked to them and have conversations with them, I understand that they were really happy, and it was because Daddy did not like little boys. He only liked little girls.
And so, as a child, did that ever make you feel like you were unaccepted or like you were? I'm sorry, I'm trying to choose my words wisely with this question, but did you ever feel like you were not good enough because he was making a difference between female and male?
No, I just felt like I was preyed upon, because I felt like I was the throwaway child. I felt like nobody wanted me. My parents didn't want me. My family didn't want me. And so therefore, this gave predators a license to do what they did because I felt also that they felt as if I was a throwaway child. So therefore, it was okay to do what they were doing to me.
Okay. Um, did they ever, at any chance, make you feel like you contributed to what happened to you, like it was your fault, like you were the blame?
Not when not when I was young, but as I come to understand things about my record, they would put stuff in my file that said I was fast. That is a re-victimization again because I was not fast. I was groomed and I had been molested. And so the behaviors that I was exhibiting came from what was done to me. And I really love if they would just change that terminology and pay attention to when a child is acting quote unquote fast and identify that maybe, just maybe, that child had been molested.
So, what are some of the signs that you would tell people to look out for? Like, what were some of the things that you were doing at the time that you felt as though should have been red flags to your mother at the time?
Um, I remember reading something that said that I was in adult conversations. I was always where the adults were, those things like that. But I think a red flag to my mother was the fact that I was sleeping in school. And the reason why I was sleeping in school is because I wasn't getting any sleep, because I was being messed with at nighttime all night long. And so by the time I went to school, I was sleepy. I think that should have been a red flag. I think the fact that I was uh, uh, kid that liked to play outside, and then that I started to withdraw and go in my room, that should have been a red flag. I think the fact that the man, the father, daddy started being mean to me, that should have been a red flag.
Okay. Um, did you ever, I know you were only 4 years old, and that probably sound crazy to someone to say, well, did you ever try to fight back? Of course you're a kid, but when you would tell them no or you would resist, what were some of the things that you would face? Like what were some of the things that you were going through? What was some of the fears or thoughts going through your head?
um I was really afraid. For one, I was really afraid. I was overpowered. For two, I would do things like I would turn over, I would play like I was asleep, and I would do things like that. I would put pillows in that area. I would put pants on and try to, you know, just turn over, act like I was asleep, like I didn't hear it, I didn't know, or whatever. And it's like a blind eye. He didn't pay attention to anything I was doing. He just woke me up, ripped my clothes down, and did his routine. And um, I think parents should be always cautious while leaving little children home with any adult male, and women too, because women indeed do molest. I have been molested by a woman as well, and this pattern has went on my whole entire life. I know too many stories of other people that has experienced what I have experienced, and this is what gives me my drive to want to do something about it. I literally just cannot stand this. This is what I'm so passionate about. I want people to be able to find their voice and tell the story, because they gain their power back. The enemy and evil and predators thrive in secrecy. As long as nobody is speaking or telling, it continues. I have one person who has abused me since I was 4, but still is currently allegedly abusing children still. That's almost 50 years. It's almost 50 years. The adults in my family turned a blind eye. It was exposed early, okay? And every person turned a blind eye. Every adult turned a blind eye to this. From my mother to my aunts, everybody turned a blind eye. Oh, we don't tell this. We sweep it under the rug. We don't tell Uncle Johnny, and all that type of stuff. And I think it's the problem. That is the problem. We would tell something.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody would be mad for about a month. Next holiday, it would be a party. And everybody was back together, and the abuse continued. This is what has to stop.
Mm-hmm. Um, did anyone ever witness this happening to you?
I think in several incidents that I can name, one incident, the adult knew that was happening to me because she did not move me until he was finished. That's one incident. Another incident that I can remember is that it was about 5 of us in the bed, and the said predator went to everybody's areas and messed with everybody while we were all in the same bed. So when I tell this story about this particular predator, I'm not the only one who has a story about this particular predator, because he has made other people his victim as well. And what I think is really driving me is the fact that I know or have information that he indeed is doing the same thing. I don't think it's so much about me anymore. It's about the fact that he was able to get away with it for 50 years. I think that's what it is. And I watch the little stories on TikTok and stuff, and it's very triggering to me. And I just want to stop. If I had a magic wand, I would wave it, and all children would be protected.
Did you ever seek like counseling? Did they ever allow you to speak to anyone, even though they didn't provide help to you? Did you ever have like any counseling?
No, my counseling consisted of dowels with real areas
Mm-hmm.
that I hadn't even grew yet. If you know what I mean, they had adult areas on the dowels, and they were more so interested in identifying what name to put on what was done to me. But when you show someone a dowel that does not look like what they currently have because I'm a child, I think that's a little perverted. I think it's perverted, and it's a re-triggering because it's re-victimizing because it's making the child remember and identify with the dowel part and the predator's parts.
Mm-hmm. So they never dealt with your mental. They just wanted to know what happened in
Exactly.
detail.
Yeah, I can remember 4 sessions, and that was it. I can remember 4 sessions, and I can't tell you to this day what was said that would um, supposedly help me with what I had been through at such a very early age.
Okay, so my next question to you is, what would you tell a therapist um, that could help a child or you yourself, that 4-year-old girl? What would you tell them? What advice would you give them to help them to interview children?
I think it's vitally important to make the child aware that there are evil people in the world, and it's nothing that they did wrong. It's not their fault. And that they always should tell and keep telling until somebody believes them. From the teacher to the mama, auntie, uncle, to somebody is done, do something about it. I think mine went on for so long because, first of all, I was terrified. I was a little bitty girl. This man was over 60 years older than me, and I was little. I had experience grooming already, so I was taught to be quiet when those type of things happen. But even as grew older and I fought back, I didn't have enough strength. I didn't have enough strength to fight. I didn't have enough strength to fight.
Okay. Um, how did you change physically and emotionally after being assaulted?
Um, I was emotionally immature. I was emotionally disconnected. I was an emotional wreck behind that. And physically, I just didn't like my body. I didn't like my body. I even tried to self harm myself because I felt like if I didn't have this and this, nobody would touch me. If I didn't have these parts, nobody would touch me. If I could hurt these parts, nobody would touch me. And um, that played a mental toll on me, where I was severely traumatized. I was severely traumatized by it. Um, I didn't love myself and I didn't love my body. Everybody, some people. comment, oh, you're so beautiful, you're so this and you're so that. But it does not matter what you say if I don't feel it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was severely traumatized, even going into my adult relationships, because first of all, I picked abusers, and I just did not actually love myself. I didn't love myself. I didn't love my body. I hated what God gave me. I hated it. Mm, mm, yeah.
Okay. So at this point of our interview, I just want to ask, which way should a person go if they're dealing with something like this? Like, where is the beginning? Like, what is the start of getting help when
Open
being
it.
emmed?
Opening your mouth. Opening your mouth is the start of getting help. Telling someone is the start of getting help. I think we should be as loud as possible. Um, when dealing with a situation like this, I think that if one person you tell is not helping, then you should proceed to more people who would help until you get the help that you need.
Okay. So I am now going to let you guys know where you can find me, ChrystalNichole. You can find me as the co-host of A Child Like Me on Instagram at It's ChrystalNichole, or you can also find me on TikTok at Crystal_Light. This podcast, this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning of our interviewing process. We would like you guys to tune in and follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Subscribe so that you have your notifications on to follow us when these drop. We are bringing to you special guests. We're providing resources. We're providing a safe outlet for you to speak. And I just hope you join this community. This is a sisterhood. We are bringing forth information from situations which we both were involved in. I myself was involved in a foster care system. Before the age of 2, I was adopted. So me and Wendy Coleman have a lot of background on the topics that we will be discussing. This is a place where you can come to join in, to be a guest if you like, but join us on A Child Like Me. And I'm going to give it back to the host up top so that she can have her final words.
Okay, so thank you so much for joining A Child Like Me podcast. I am Wendy Coleman. It is my desire that you tell your story, find your voice, gain your power, and end any type of abuse where children, women, and men are involved. A Child Like Me represents any child that this has affected, any child that has experienced this is what A Child Like Me represents. Nowhere in a million years did I think that what I went through will become my passion and my ministry. I thank you so much for joining. I thank you so much for watching. Please do check me out, Wendy Coleman, Crystal, Nicole, and Felicia Steen, as we are the host of A Child Like Me podcast. Please find us on A Child Like Me podcast on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Okay, we will encourage you to donate at A Child Like Me, and that will be Cash App $ A Child Like Me. But really, I think that the greatest thing we could do for us is to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Bye,
Bye.
guys.
Wake that up. A Child Like Me podcast.
Look,
It's
till
going
next
up. It
time.
is up. It is up. Oh, thank you so much. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.